My name is Monray Williams. I form part of the Faculty of Natural and Agricultural Sciences, and I form part of what was previously known as the focus area of human metabolomics, now defined as the Biomedical and Molecular Metabolism Research Entity, and I'm a senior lecturer here at the university. I've been actively involved in research for at least the last 10 years, starting with my master's in biotechnology at the University of the Western Cape. And here I worked on developing diagnostics, so basically like a pregnancy kit but for HIV, to detect the HIV within the window period. So that's what I did during my MSc. And then I became interested, what are the other ways that HIV negatively affects the body? And this is when I registered for my doctorate at the University of Cape Town, where I started looking how HIV affects the brain. So that might be unfamiliar to many people. We know that HIV equals AIDS, but we don't know that HIV also negatively affects the brain. So in at least 50% of the HIV population, they present some type of dementia, very similar to what we see in Alzheimer's disease. And then in 2020, I got appointed here at the NWU in the Next Generation of Academics program. And I continued my research in those two main themes, one being how does HIV affect the brain, and then the second thing that many people don't know is that HIV is also different based on your geographical location. So HIV is different in America and Europe than what it is in Africa. And the basis of our understanding of how HIV works is derived from studies coming from the global north. So our group is now trying to correct that imbalance or bias to try and figure out how does HIV look and the building blocks of HIV and what that means for health in South Africa or sub-Saharan Africa to fill that knowledge gap in comparison to the global north. So I think the research is particularly important because if you think about it, if people with HIV have problems with their brain, it affects their memory, it affects their daily function, it will then affect how they take the medication or remember to take the medication. So if they don't do that, it increases the risk then for transmission and then an upsurge of this virus or pandemic again. In terms of, like I mentioned, in terms of the diversity of the virus, like I mentioned, the majority of our knowledge economy comes from the global north for other viruses. So we have to ask the question then, are we building our knowledge economy on a virus or a narrow stance of just the global north? So there's a big opportunity now to fill that research economy or research gap, that we can really start contextualizing what HIV looks like for our context. And once we're able to do that, we're then able to develop therapeutics that are suited for our communities. So the Ambassador Award, I think it took me a bit by surprise. I didn't expect it, but it was also an opportunity to, I think, realign myself. It was a very humbling experience. I think if this were the things that I achieved up until this point, and what can I do for the future of my career? I've been very fortunate at the NWU to be recognized in excellence for teaching and learning and for research and innovation. But this one felt particularly special because it almost gave me that you now starting to become a fully fledged academic, or which is what is known as a well-rounded academic. Oftentimes as an academic, we think we just need to focus on our teaching and learning or just focus on our research. But there's other ways that we can fully represent what it is to be a full and well-rounded academic. So I think that almost gave me the pat on the back that I'm well on that direction of being a well-rounded academic. And yes, we as academics can then flourish in multiple ways, not just in what we think should be in silo. So I always find that to be an interesting question, and I often have long conversations with my postgrad students about this. People think if you see your lecturer, he's standing in front of the class or he's just a researcher. But to me, it often feels like it's a career that's so high demanding and high pushing. I often feel like Lewis Hamilton in a racetrack, but I'm sitting by my desk or sitting in the lab. And that's the way it feels to me, because a lot of the work that we do, and that's what pushes me and motivates me, is that we can often see tangible outputs almost immediately. So if I'm standing in front of my class and I see the light bulbs are off, I can make a tweak in how I approach the lesson, and almost immediately I can see an output of that light bulbs going on. Same way if I have interaction with teaching postgrad students, almost immediately if I change my approach or what I'm trying to teach, those light bulbs go up. And again, with our research and innovation, if I'm able to do quality and high impact research, people can often build on our research and develop things that can affect millions of lives in the future. So I wish that we can take off the blinkers. There's a saying that goes, you only know what you know, or you know what you're exposed to, and that's all you think you can achieve. But my encouragement to the youth is that we should realize the world is bigger than what we think it is. My dad always taught us the saying that if you see someone else can achieve something, it means you can also achieve it. It might take you a bit longer to get there. You might have different circumstances getting there, but you can also achieve that. So that is one of my biggest desires, I think, for the youth, is that we need to realize that the world is our oyster. We can achieve certain things, and it's not designed. You can often see ourselves that this is not meant for me, but like I mentioned, if someone else did it before you, it means you also have the ability to be able to do that. Then the second thing is, I think that we need to stop looking and playing the blame game and looking around us at our circumstances to say, I can't do this because of these reasons. I think of the motto of the university, which it all starts here. I think we should put that to ourselves, say it all starts with me. What can I do to change the situation for myself? And then once I'm in a position, then how can I change the situation for the people around me?